Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, October 25th. We're looking at Window Traders Market Profile, the S and NQ. A lot to get to today. We want to break down all these charts. Interesting day, to say the least. Let's start off with righty. We gap higher, only to fill the gap, and finally hold the trend day down. Remember, they had 3 sets of single prints Wednesday and Thursday that got taken back to the downside. Today they had 2, but they held 1. So they go out with an afternoon rally high and a double distribution day down. NQ gaps higher and holds the gap. They had a chance very early today for an outside week up. That went out the window, but they do hold their gap. And they go out with an afternoon rally high in G and their gap below. They had a perfect 8 for 8 wide POC, and it never could get lowered. It was raised earlier today. Now, I like 9 wide or more, but this is still, for my money's worth, something not to be ignored going forward, since it could never be lowered. We could have gone down 1,000 points, it wouldn't have been lowered. So keep that in mind. ES, gapped higher, filled it, ends up with a trend day down and an afternoon rally high in G. So bulls gave up a lot, but we'll go down over the charts and everything and see where we really stand going into, I would think, an incredibly busy time now. There's a lot out next week. We'll go over that. And then the week after, a tremendous amount that could affect this market. I had a good day, a really good day, and I was very patient after a loss in C period, and we'll go over that in a minute. But initially, this market told us to look to long it. Now, the gap and go crowd must have been very giddy for A and B period because it worked. But just like I told my room, if it's truly going to be a gap and go, you're going to have opportunities. So I didn't buy the opening, but I certainly bought A period right away after the opening in NQ to get the overnight high. Then as it pushed up on any kind of pullback, I was looking to long, and at 9:45 on the turnover, I looked to long because the algos were firing up. So a very good A period. Then in B period, I took the long to pop the top, and that also turned out to be a very nice trade. Okay? Both of those were on my 5 lots to get the overnight high and A's high. Now, I had such a good A and B period with the ebb and flows in that, I actually shut down my personal account and went to one of the prop ones I play. And I got in trouble in C. When C period opened with a trend day up, you had value, gap, indices, one-time framing. So the odds, you hear that word a lot, don't you? The odds of taking out the IB high were extremely high. Did they do it? No. Came in, took it off, lost like $1,300 on it. Then I said, okay, I'm going to be patient now. Not sure what they really want to do. I didn't do anything until H period. When we pulled back, I thought there was a potential for an afternoon pullback in NQ. Now, I didn't get hurt. I actually made money on it because when it first got down to, I forgot exactly where I bought it because obviously things changed when we took out the IB low. But it didn't change much because we didn't push down that much. So it was somewhere around half back and value low at the time. And I got paid. Well, let me rephrase that. It went down some more, and I added. I forgot where I added. Oh, I know when I added. So I rarely do this. I rarely look at to trade NQ versus what ES is doing. But at that point, it looked like ES had their sights set on the gap fill. NQ at that point was nowhere near the day's low. So I thought we would get a responsive bounce if ES filled that. And I added an NQ. And I did get it. I was long 2 at 90, 4 and 5 at I think it was 60 or 58, 60. Well, I got paid net. I made back what I lost and a little more on the long and C period. I think I made, for argument's sake, I made 1,500. I lost 1,300 here. Now, I told the room right after that, I will not be looking along that again, especially if I takes out H. In fact, I'll take the short to get the IB low. And I did. So again, I broke H's low, started going, jumped on a 5 lot, and boom, got right below A's low, took it off, and made 90 points on that. So you can see, even though I was wrong about getting the IB high, I didn't get stubborn. I took my loss and then was very patient. I thought maybe we'd have an afternoon pullback. Now, I got fortunate somewhat on that trade, but I told you why I did it. And I said I wouldn't do it again. And then I took the trade that I thought was really going to pay to take out A's low. And that was it. That was it. I was my last trade. I didn't see anything after that I wanted to do. I really didn't. And I didn't. Stayed out of it. So it turned out to be a good day trading. Very good day in the room. It was pretty slow, actually, the last 3-4 time frames. It didn't do much. And we had some great discussions about, type of trading. And do we think people, hunt other orders, other retail traders' orders? And I'm like, trading is hard enough. If you think anybody cares about your 1 lot, your 3 lot, your 5 lot, your 10 lot, you're out of your mind. Put that out of your mind. There's so much more to worry about in trading than that. So, and that's something I say to everybody. I'm not going to go over destinations, but what I'm going to do is break down these charts. Let's see what we got going. Now, before we do that, let's talk about next week. Okay? Monday's nothing. But Tuesday, you got Jolts at 10 o'clock. And then you have AMD and Google after the bell. Wednesday, after the bell, you have Facebook and Microsoft. Thursday, you have PCE in the morning. And then after the bell, Amazon and Apple. And then Friday, you have non-farm payroll. So there is a lot out next week to deal with, along with the election coming up and the Fed meeting again a week from Wednesday. So where we stand here on our charts, let's break them down. And by the way, I had about two or three more people join this week. I urge you, you're going to see some volatility, my friends, coming up. You want to learn and be educated on what to look for in the market, using the market profile and other methods you use. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. I think it'll be the best money you ever spent. So let's go to IWM. Again, it's a 4-month balance. Nothing's changing there. Earlier this month, I thought they might try to break out of it to the upside, but they've backed off. Right? How many more trading days do we have in a month? 4. We also have the end of the month next week. So the monthly is balanced. The weekly is balance. You want to call it 2-week balance. You want to incorporate this and make it a 6-week balance. That's probably the best thing to do. Probably make it a 6-week balance. So monthly balance, weekly balance, and the daily, guess what? Balance, 4 days. So once again, IWM is in its perpetual balance. Monthly, weekly, daily. NQ and triple Qs. The monthly is balance. It's a 5-month balance. Okay? They have to take out the all-time high to come out of the monthly up. The weekly is balance. Again, do we call it just a 3-week balance or do we incorporate a 5-week balance? It's your choice. It's subjective. This isn't etched in stone where, you can't say 3, it's 5, or vice versa. What you're comfortable calling the balance and how you see it is what you use. Okay? I'd probably use a 5-week balance here. Okay? So monthly balance, weekly balance, and the daily. Now this is a tough one for me. They held the gap, but that's an ugly looking candle. But they did break above the rest of that mess. If they didn't hold the gap, I'd probably say it's balance. Not so sure. Maybe I would call it balance to up, to keep the word balance in there, right? It's not a very bullish candle the way it closed, but they did hold the gap. So you can call it up to balance or balance to up, whichever way you want to call it. But for the most part, we're looking for more MGI tremendously in both IWM and Q. Let's go to the S&P. That's a healthy monthly candle. It's the only real healthy candle out of the 9 we're looking at. Everything else is balanced, basically, right? But so far, that's healthy in the S&P. We can't take that away from them yet. The weekly is balance. Again, is it 2 weeks? Is it 3 weeks? You want to incorporate this whole thing? It doesn't matter to me. I'm probably going to use, only going to use 2 weeks because this week's low is fairly far away from 3 weeks ago's low. So I'll probably only use this week's low. But regardless of what you use, we're looking for more MGI. So monthly up, weekly balance, and the daily is balance. I was going to call it up earlier. They filled the whole gap. You know, they blew through Wednesday's high. I was like, okay, but never got here. So I'm calling the daily balance. So all in all, this market is really still looking for direction. You have a lot this week and a lot the following next week and a lot the following week. I have a feeling we're not going to be talking about balance after the next 2 weeks on most of these time frames. Don't know, though, which way you'll be coming out of it. And anybody who says they do is just guessing. Right? We don't know. We don't know. Anyway, I hope you had a great week trading. Enjoy your weekend. Rest up. And we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.